Welcome to Technology Rox.
And I already started. That's okay. All right. Hi, this is Justin with Technology Rox here in the studio with
Mr. Gran.
Mr. Gran, the high-tech redneck himself, and actually two special guests. This is a fully loaded, heavyweight contended show. The first time we've actually had 4 guests on air at the same time. We have Mr. Ray Garcia. Mr. Ray, can you? We have to have a name for everyone. We have to call Ray something because you're the high-tech redneck.
Well, he's Mr. IMAX.
Yeah, he's Mr. IMAX, the movie expert. Yeah, no, Ray actually works in the movie industry and whatnot, and we'll let you guess the name.
It starts with an I and ends with a mad.
He's the mad IMAX.
No, so all the things that we build during the week that mimic what he does, he actually builds it. And we have our motorcycle riding super nerd, Mr. Wallace. Hello, Mr. Wallace. How are you today?
I am great.
All righty. So we're all here. We're going to start off with movie news. We've got a jam-packed show. CES is just right around the corner, but we'll start with movie news first. We have Stranger Things that has now ended its season, its maiden voyage. What is it, 6 years in with the juggernaut known as Netflix. So here's the thing. I really wanted Ray on this show for numerous reasons, but I want to hear his perspective. There's a lot of news going on with Netflix. I would say that Stranger Things is probably one of their, what would you say, most successful things that they've been involved with that's more of a cult classic. Ray, what is are you a Stranger Things fan?
I am, actually. We just finished the series last night. It was good. I like the way it ended.
Yeah? Yeah, no, so we just started watching it, and I don't know, I've been in a cave. It's like we always do that right before it ends. We try to binge watch.
Yeah, and sometimes that's kind of a good thing because, like when you have a huge gap between seasons as they started to now, you just tend to lose interest. But I think everybody was pretty excited about, the series finale.
Hey, Byron, are you a Stranger Things fan?
No, I heard some people talking about it the other day because this guy and his wife was arguing that they was watching it together, and she fell asleep, and he continued, and she chastised him for continuing to watch it without him.
The carnal sin of continuing to watch the show.
I've never been a Netflix subscriber, so I've never seen it.
So Ian can't weigh in on anything at all on the net of the flicks. No, the Stranger Things is huge. You can't, again, it's like Marvel. You can't go anywhere without seeing it or hearing about it right now because I know they waited to release this last half of it. There's also some really interesting things going on with Netflix. So Netflix has come a long way since your mail-in DVDs and mail-in Blu-rays used to go on a list, fill out things, and get Blu-rays via the mail and all that sort of thing. That's how Netflix started. And strangely enough, I'm wondering if Blockbuster is kicking themselves now for not purchasing Netflix because they had the opportunity to purchase Netflix. But now Netflix owns Warner Brothers. So that's a really weird thing right now. And Ray, how has that shaken up your industry? Because there's a lot of cinema owners that are pissed off. There's a lot of concerned cinema formats that are showing hesitation with this deal going through. What is your thought being on the other side of the fence?
I guess as I was saying, before, I think nothing's really going to change or nothing's really going to take the place of cinema, right? But, with the whole Warner Brothers Netflix thing, and of course all of this is just my opinion, but I feel like, with them closing the window on how long a movie is going to be out, it is definitely going to hurt the industry.
So explain what that means.
So
what are they talking about?
Between release date and between, so like if you have something coming out, like Avatar came out on December 19th, they're going to give it anywhere from 20 to 30 days for a theatrical window, and then they're going to drop it from cinema and then, put it on streaming. Now, with Warner Brothers, and I think they tried to do this, even during the pandemic with the whole HBO thing, they were like, well, we're not going to go, to cinemas and stuff, and that kind of where it really started. But I think with that window is just going to be kind of.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it was closing his lid. But I think with that theatrical window that they have is just it's not going to be good because there's not going to be enough product that's being produced to get out there. So,
but Netflix doesn't have any bearing on a movie that's not DC or Warner Brothers, though.
Correct.
Okay, so they wouldn't have any bearing on like the Avatar movie, but say Batman came out, which would be a DC Warner Brothers content, that would release in 17 days, according to what you're seeing right this second.
Yeah, but it's just going to be any Warner Brothers distribution movie. It's not just going to be your comic type.
And is that set in stone, or is it just one of those things?
I don't know. I mean, who knows at this point? I mean, they could change their mind tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's all going to be up to what Netflix decides to do. But I don't think it's again, in my opinion, I don't think it's good to have that kind of a short window, for movies to be in the cinema.
So going back into the Netflix thing, did you, in your wildest dreams, and this is for everyone, did you picture a mail-in DVD business becoming a juggernaut that now owns Warner Brothers? It's just to me, it's unfathomable. To me, it's so wild. I kind of want to talk to Blockbuster at that moment, because I know Blockbuster told Netflix it was the dumbest idea they'd ever heard of.
They did. Absolutely.
Turned it down, and then Blockbuster tried to do what was called Blockbuster Live for a minute before streaming really took off. And it was because internet service providers couldn't keep up with the bandwidth that was needed to stream a movie, nor would you want to stream the movie because the quality was so poor, which ended up being a download situation. There was a thing a long time ago before Walmart bought them called Vudu. Long time. In fact, Walmart owns them now, and I think it's called Ultraviolet or something. That they changed the name from Vudu to something else, but VUDU is what it was called. But it was a downloadable thing, very much like Kaleidoscape, and that was until the movie industry kind of pooped on it. But yeah,
I still got that app on my phone. It's purple now.
The what? Ultraviolet or Vudu?
Voodoo.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be higher quality, and it was a very independent company. They had a little bitty stream box that you could buy from an integrator, and you could hook your own hard drive into it. But like most companies that have hard drive-based media servers, they get killed. I mean, the movie industry just destroys that type of thing. But yeah, so Netflix was interesting. It's going into Marvel news. It's do or die time for Marvel. I think Ray will back me up on that. So they're saying 2026 is the do or die Marvel ride for Phase 7. Right now we're in Phase 6, but what they're saying and their prediction is if Phase 6 doesn't do well, then Phase 7 will not continue. So they pulled that out of the stops. This has to do with Captain America Brave New World not doing well. And then Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was a failure to launch as well. Did you see any of those? I didn't see them.
I didn't see them, but I know Thunderbolts, it did better than what I think most people thought. And the movie was better than what most people thought it was going to be.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it. I'm just going by, and I usually don't go by what other people say.
But you had Marvel fatigue too, didn't you?
I did. I had, yeah, it was just, I mean, because, leading up to Endgame, which, we're not going to get into because there's a lot of people who get mad at me for spreading my opinion about that movie. But it's to me, it just seemed like they had a plan, and they stuck to the plan, and it worked very well. And then, when Endgame came out, they were like, well, what are we going to do now? I don't know. Let's just start throwing up a bunch of stuff and then see what comes
sticks
out.
to the wall. Yeah, no, that's and there's only so many moments that Robert Downey Jr. is going to do it, but they're launching with some heavyweights. So they're launching with Spider-Man, which Spider-Man is rumored to have the John Bernthal Punisher, who's in the Netflix Punisher show, which was awesome. I can't believe I waited so long to watch that.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was a brilliant show. I was a huge Punisher fan. And then Incredible Hulk. So it's going to be Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, and the Punisher on the same screen for the first time. So that's going to be big. And then, of course, you can't talk about a movie without Avengers Doomsday. Ray and I have a little bit different opinion on it. I can, okay, put it this way. I can tell you my reservations. My reservations on this is that they're bringing all of these old characters in to just absolutely kill them off in front of you. And that's kind of my reservation on it. They're going to pull a Star Wars. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't think they'd go that far. I don't think they're going to be that dumb.
Well, I also don't know how to
lack of words.
I also don't know how they're going to pull Deadpool into it because he's never been in a rated PG-13 movie. The guy is literally a walking rated R movie. So and they're talking about that. So that'll be interesting. Okay, so shifting gears to James Gunn and the DC universe. Batman 2 is going to start filming this year. That's with Robert Pattinson. And then we have Supergirl. Supergirl, they just relaunched the trailer. You know what's funny is it looks interesting. I'm more interested than that than the Superman. I'm still a Cavalier. I'm still a Henry Cavill should be Superman person. I do not enjoy the new. I didn't see the new Superman, and I don't think I would like the new Superman just because he didn't seem like a super person to me. But
he wasn't a Superman.
Well, but so Henry Cavill was basically like Christopher Reeves reincarnated. I mean, the guy was just huge. He was chiseled in stone. You wouldn't want to leave your wife around him. Just amazing. He just looked like Superman. This other guy, most of the movie, so I've heard, got his butt kicked in the whole movie, and it was just. Did you see it?
I did. I did.
Okay. What did? All right. Let's hear your thought on it.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to hog up the time, but I liked it. There were a couple of things I didn't like about it because I am a comic book fan and I am a huge Alex Ross fan who created Kingdom Come and not so much of the writing, but so much of the art. And since I'm a big fan of that, I didn't like that they changed the shield to the Alex Ross Kingdom Come shield. Right. And I thought that could have been done differently. But other than that, I thought the movie was good. And it kind of, really separates, what Christopher Reeve done. Nothing. I mean, I'm always going to be the Christopher Reeve, and like you, I thought Henry Cavill was going to be Superman forever. But I thought that David Cornswell did a really good job, to be honest.
Well, the Henry Cavill thing pissed me off for two reasons. One, Henry Cavill left The Witcher series on, I think, Netflix, which was a brilliant series based on another comic book. Left that series, and then he left because he was told he was going to be Superman, and then they fired him. So it was kind of this weird thing. But all right, so moving out of DC comic news, James Gunn basically said he's going to take his time with it, very much a Marvel approach. James Gunn is he is the brainchild behind Guardians of the Galaxy and a few of the other heavyweight Marvel movies, and then DC brought him on board for that very reason, thinking that the DC universe was rushed to try to keep up with the Marvel universe. So they have a lot riding on the Supergirl, Superman. Superman didn't do bad in the box office. So, and I know Supergirl, there's a lot of criticism because they brought the dog, the animal aspect into a little bit. James Gunn's just an animal guy. He likes doing He likes bringing cartoon, realistic-looking animals in his every, movie that I've ever seen him do.
Yeah, that's his dog.
Is that his dog?
Yeah, that apparently he modeled
really
crypto off of his dog.
Oh, that's funny. So so it'll be interesting just to see what his. There's also been hint now that with the most recent cash injection that DC has, that the Snyderverse may rear its ugly head again. Meaning Cavill may not be done with Superman. I hope that's more of a pipe dream. Probably won't happen. So, all right, moving into tech news. Now that we've bored you profusely with movie news, but we have to stick with movie. We have to put movie news in here because otherwise we get yelled at because we have no movie news. But going into our technical section of the program, we have CES launching this coming week. All kinds of crazy things, ups and downs. I know Ian and Byron hit on the memory shortage issue or memory price issue that's going to be coming up. Ian, do you want to just jump into your Linux experiment that you tried and reported back with on our what the heck's wrong with Microsoft thing?
Yeah. It's an ongoing project. It wasn't just a flash in the pan. It was because I'm thinking of moving that way in general, moving away from Microsoft, or Microslop as they've been called lately. And that's all to do with the AI and the CEO of Microsoft saying, no, you shouldn't call it slop. So immediately the memes all come out. It's Microslop. Anyway, Linux as an operating system and has always been there in the background, but it's always been conceived. It's always been perceived as a techie. You need to know what to type in the command line type of thing. So, having researched a little bit prior to last week, I discovered there were 2 or more versions of Linux that you can install to effectively replace Windows. And I tried both of them on 2 different older computers, which have less capability, but that shouldn't matter.
Was one of them old trusty or Alienware from the early 1900s?
They were both old HP desktops. The first one I tried, Zorin, Zorin, was one of the 2 that's kind of recommended by a lot of people, and you just basically download it, whatever the latest version is, and you burn it to a flash drive on any Windows computer. But you burn it to a USB flash drive, you go and plug it into the machine that you want to update and boot from that flash drive, and it comes up and says, do you want to install? Do you want to try it out? Do you want to install it but keep the Windows stuff that you've already got? You get options. As they were old computers that only had fresh Windows 10 installs on, I thought I don't need to keep that. I haven't got files and things to access, so I did a full install. And Zorin just installed, and once it had finished and it booted up, it looks like Windows. They have, and it's basically free to download. It includes an Office suite called LibreOffice, which looks to me almost like you're using Microsoft Office, and apparently it will read Office type files, so there shouldn't be a problem porting over.
So you're saying you're a Linux convert?
I'm getting there, but it's I haven't applied it to any of my working computers yet, and some of those will stay on Windows because they're all set up with specific software for specific tasks, and I have no need to mess with them. I don't need to update them. They don't even need to be online for the jobs they're doing. I'm not sure whether security camera software Blue Iris will run on Linux yet. I haven't looked into that, but if it does, then I will probably convert that over. But that runs quite happily on its little Windows 11 PC in the background.
So I've found that's that's the brick wall with Linux or Linux. I don't know how you say it. It's a compatibility thing.
Well,
and
there are a couple of options now to enable you to run Windows applications within Linux. Either like like a virtual machine environment on a Windows machine, you can run a virtual Windows computer within your Linux environment and then run apps. There's a product or an application called, I believe it's called Wine, which is to enable that kind of thing. So if there's something that technically will only run in Windows, so you search for it in the Zorin App Store, it will actually come up and say, this doesn't work, this Windows app does not work on Linux, but here are some alternatives. So it will give you options as to what you can use instead of what you were trying to use, or you can try and run it through one of the emulation means.
It's almost like a boot camp.
But so anyway, it's getting off the point. The installation just happened. I just put the disk in, booted up from it, gave it, I think all I had to do was tell it what time zone I was in. I mean, that was it, and it just installed. It has installed drivers for every piece of hardware that's in that computer. It even detected NVIDIA graphics card and installed a driver for that, and that was fine. The other version, which I've tried, I don't believe is too much difficult, but it did cause me some issues. It's called Mint, and it did effectively the same kind of install, burn it to a USB drive, boot from it, and it installs. But somewhere along the line, it came up and said something about third-party drivers, and if you want to install third-party drivers, you have to enable secure boot. I was just ticking, yeah, install whatever drivers you need. So it installed it, and then when it tried to boot, it came up and told me that there was, and this was at the BIOS level, somehow it had enabled secure boot, and I was not aware of what I was supposed to do at that point, and I ended up bricking the machine temporarily until I was able to get into the BIOS and clear out the secure boot passwords and do all sorts of other stuff. So that one was kind of a little bit of a failure in the first initial attempt. And once I got it working, it was like, it kept coming up and asking me to put my password in every time I wanted to do something, which was kind of felt inconvenient. So on that front, out of those two, Zorin works off the bat. Put it in, it runs. And I'd be interested to hear of anybody else's experiences, because I'm new to putting it on, although having been a Unix person,
I don't know, maybe something
in a previous life, it's not, I'm totally alienated by it, but it does look like Windows. Now Zorin, as I said, you download it, it's free, it comes with all these apps. If you're a Mac person moving to Zorin, you can actually pay for their Pro version, which is $47 lifetime license, and you get a Mac version of the GUI. So they can make it look like a Mac.
Right.
And it's like, this is great. Anyway, the point being, you can, if you pay that $47 for that Pro version, you can install that on as many personal computers as you have or want.
Huh.
It's not, they don't say, oh no, you've got to pay for every computer you want to put it on. No, it's like, you've downloaded it, you've paid for it. If you want to put it on that computer and all these computers in your house, if you're a business, no, you need to do it.
So what would stop somebody from buying, like...
The Pro version?
No. If they have a version, couldn't you just give a copy to someone else?
Well,
or how does that...
That might just be a trust.
Oh, okay.
On a system, but they may or may not have some kind of record, like they're going to spot if you suddenly get the same version that, maybe there's an embedded serial number that it doesn't come up with anything like that, but if it is, and if it's in there and they suddenly discover that somebody in another country is using the same version you downloaded and paid for, Well, I guess there's going to be a license key on that Pro version. But as I haven't paid for it or downloaded it yet.
So you ready to convert, Byron?
It's interesting. I'm going to get me a cheap machine and I'm going to play.
So you're not going to do it on your old trusty put gasoline in Alienware computer?
No. That's not going to happen. I'm going to get me one of them Facebook Marketplace specials.
I've got old computers. If you want one, Byron, just say the word. Yeah, I can supply it pre-installed with Zorin.
Sounds good to me.
No, Byron, if you say the word free, he'll feed you. So, yeah, you just tell him when he's coming and he'll barbecue for you. All right.
I've been trying to get Justin to use that word for a long time. It just ain't been working.
That's true. Well, that's because your house involves me crawling through an attic and being 30 feet in the air, putting a camera in, which I'm not a fan of either of those things. But all right. So CES news topics to ponder. I mean, you've got. We can't walk into CES without talking about artificial intelligence. It's going to be everywhere. They've said it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be the hot word this coming CES, whether we like it or not. Some people are saying we're entering the Jetsons technology world where, doors are going to start using facial recognition and handprint recognition and things like that to let you in to your own home. Same thing with garage doors and all that stuff. I mean, guys, did you see anything interesting on the upcoming CES stuff?
I didn't. I haven't paid attention to CES in about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of, there's a lot of stuff in there that I can't afford anyway. So, I kind of avoid it.
I mean, there's two levels of forward thinking stuff. I call it leading edge and bleeding edge.
Yeah.
And I think CES is at that level that I'm not looking at. I'm looking at somewhere in between new stuff that's coming out but more proven.
So I've been to CES several times, and just describing it,
I'm hearing the AC again.
Describing it is it's overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff that I call vaporware that you don't see at all, and then there's a lot of stuff that I remember even going back 10 years, they were showing the LG motion control remote and then hand gestures to control TVs and things like that. Even when I saw it back then, I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. And then now that I've held an LG Magic remote in somebody's living room, it's the first thing I want to throw against the wall because I still think by far it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So CES is a good barometer of things to come. It kind of shows you the nth degree of technology versus the nth degree of where it could go, and most of the time it doesn't go. So it's just more of what's coming 20 years from now rather than CEDIA, which is always in September, and that's this is coming next quarter or this is coming next year. But a lot of AI is holding a lot of weight in this. I know a lot of folks are talking about memory and storage, how the price on storage and things has shot up in most cases, which is going to have a trickle-down effect of PCs and things like that. So my thought on reading about new laptops and desktops and whatnot, guys, do we even need laptops and desktops anymore? I mean, we're running into a generation where our phones are probably the most powerful devices that we hold on a daily basis. iPads that are probably double the size of the processing of the phones, if not the same in some cases. Are we moving into a world where we don't need a laptop or a desktop anymore?
For me, as being an AKA integrator, it all comes down to USB ports and USB-C ports. Because a lot of vendors don't make information for Macs or iOS. It's all Windows based. But even if you do get emulators, you still have to have the ability to collect the cable. And I think that's what's going to really come down to. Like when Microsoft introduced the Microsoft Surface, that was the best thing since, sliced bread for the, say mobile computer type scenario, because it had that one USB port. And that's what really helped them to sell the way they sold, because it's a combination laptop and tablet in the tablet format.
What about you, Ian? What are your thoughts on it? I mean, you're iPad bound most of the time before bringing your laptop. I mean, what do you think?
I think that I don't think laptops and desktops are dead. They are obviously becoming less of a market share, I guess, because of tablets. But you're getting to that crossover point where an iPad, especially the bigger ones, 12, 13-inch iPad with a detachable keyboard, is effectively a laptop computer.
Well, I noticed G was using that the other day with a keyboard, and I was just like, "Where's your laptop?" And she's using that. And Ray, what about you? Are you calibrating with tablets now, or are you still using laptops?
No,
with
we still use laptops. Because a lot of the programs we use, most of them are Windows based, and then so, but from a consumer standpoint, I don't feel like they're dying. I mean, I still enjoy being on my desktop.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do, because it just there's just something about just kind of sitting there. And as I was mentioning to you earlier, how we were doing some stuff on eBay. There are certain things that you can't do from your iPad or from your phone if you're trying to do a sale or post a listing or whatever it is, that you can only do on your desktop. And I'm not that educated in in the hardware side stuff or even the software side. I know how to use them, but
right.
Me personally, because I am a traditionalist, and I think it's easier for me. Now my daughter, on the other hand, she's
iPad, iPhone, yeah. No, I think this up and coming generation, that's all they're going to use. I mean, I use it for programming. Like I have, the only reason I have an Apple computer for the most part is for Savant software. So I'm a Savant programmer, and there's certain, you have to use a Mac to program Savant. So. And then I have a Windows machine for some of the other esoteric programs that I have to use, like with Trinov and a couple of the other things that you have to use a Windows machine. So in my line of work, I don't see ever being without one, but I do find myself using it less and less. And so that was my general thought. I was like, man, unless you're really a gamer, and you're heavily into video games and stuff like that, is that world starting to dry up? Sure. I mean, clearly not. But most of these laptops and desktops that they're talking about are geared toward gaming. It's not business class stuff. It's gaming related. So that was why I thought of the question. Is me personally, I am reaching for that device less and less now. Whereas because my phone is now so powerful that I can do banking, I can do a LAN scan, I can do, pretty much all of the specialty tools can be done with an iPhone or an iPad or an Android tablet or, so whatever we're trying to do that with. But it's only very few, less than 5 to 10% things that I'm actually needing a laptop for. That's where the question popped up. So,
and I'm still like Ian. I'm old school. I still use a mechanical keyboard. I like to hit the clicking of the keys. I can't stand them little soft Billy touching software. That's like a man shaking your hand and he just grabbing like
the
real
dead
soft.
fish.
Man,
Just the tips. He's just holding the tip of the fingers, you know. So,
No, you want the whole forearm, like they do in like the Viking TV shows and everything else.
Yeah, don't come grab my hand with two fingers and talk about shaking hands. You know.
I'm gonna do that next time I see you. I'm gonna give you the dead fish, like straight up.
Because like I said, I got mechanical keyboard, clack 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 clack. Like, hey, that's what works for me.
So the next controversial topic that's moving into CES is, and Google got shot down hard for this, is the smart glasses. The moving into the smart glasses category. I'll tell you this, I know I played with the platform, I played with the whole Apple goggles thing, and I thought it was cool, but it was one of the stupidest things. I was like, I could never see myself adopting this and wearing this as something as being useful and not feeling like a complete idiot. I did play with oh, you shook your head. What was that?
well, yeah, I mean,
Uh-oh.
no, I think, for the price, I think it's ridiculous. But even like with
Have you
Apple
test
stuff-
driven them?
No, I've seen people use like the Apple. What are they called? The goggles, whatever.
Apple
it is.
Glass, I think.
They're using it for just all different
Minority
kinds of things.
Report looking stuff, yeah, where you can swipe stuff.
My wife, she finds some stuff. She watches a lot of TikTok, and as opposed to Instagram, which is what I do. But there's a person who does art, using them. They just kind of put is it tracing? Yeah, it's tracing, but you see window art or whatever, and people are actually starting to use those goggles to kind of put an image on the wall and then kind of trace it and kind of create art that way. I mean, is it cheating? Probably.
Did you say Tracy?
Tracing. So they're
tracing.
No, it projects the art on something, and then they're actually using their hand to trace the art on the wall that he's seeing. So I've played with them.
That was just coincidental because as he said that, I got a text message from somebody called Tracy.
Oh, that's weird.
And they was just like, "What?
How
Can you read? Can you read my watch from over there?"
I'm
So
wearing glasses. I still can't see it.
I got a sneak.
But Justin,
What's
quick
up?
question.
Yeah, please.
So for people who don't know, there are two different models because I've seen two different price points. So isn't it a model with a display in the glass, and then it has a model that's just records and play music that doesn't have the display?
That I don't know. The one that I got to test drive was the original release. So this was the one with all the pop-up displays and all that stuff. And I had called the Apple Store. This was season 1.
Vision Pro.
Yeah, I think that's what it
there you
was.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, so I had called.
I was referring to the like say the Ray-Ban glasses and.
Oh, you're
Oakley
talking about
glasses.
Meta.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the Ray-Ban Meta. Yeah, no, we'll get to that in a second because there's two big glasses companies that are working on that. In fact, if you want to look up that's or one of you wants to look that up, that's fine. Or Byron, if you want to look it up. No, the Apple glasses. So I got to go to the Apple Store and test drive this silly thing. And went down there and they spent an hour. And I told them, look, I have no intention of buying this. I just want to, we have a local show. I just want to kind of get a feel for it so I can talk about it. It's very heavy. It's like wearing a pair of ski goggles and somebody pushing down on the front of the ski goggles. And so you have to put this giant helmet-like apparatus on to where you don't feel the weight of the nose pulling down on your face. And so it kind of equalizes it out, which makes it even weirder. So, to wear. But so it's basically you can do it as a full display. You can watch movies on it, or you can just basically see your apps or your computer screen in the background while you can see other things. So if I'm watching a TV program, or if I'm in a Zoom meeting, which you would look like a complete idiot in a Zoom meeting if you're wearing these, or if you're multitask. I know some people are using, allegedly it was supposed to be used for recording sessions and GarageBand for the engineer, that he could wear them and do things with his hands and make adjustments and things on the fly. It's very weird, and it's just like, but yet I'm supposed to sit across from you and pretend that you don't look like something out of Star Wars or GoBots or something. And yeah, no, so it's just,
You're old.
yeah, and we're very old. But yeah, that was my thing. So my main question on these types of glasses are, is it a helpmeet or is it an invasion of privacy? Is it, Google Glasses got hit pretty hard with this when they tried to launch with it, and there were genuine concerns about, the obvious things, people walking to restrooms with them, and people, doing all kinds of weird things with them that they shouldn't be looking at, and stuff like that while they're wearing them. So,
But what's the difference with you having your phone and doing the same thing?
Well, you can tell if somebody's holding their phone up. You can't tell if somebody's hits the record button on their glasses.
No, you can. And
you can.
You can. And,
okay.
And because I recently it's funny you bring up this topic because I just bought my wife some Meta glasses for Christmas.
Oh, please.
Yes.
Have you played with them?
She's played with them. You can tell when somebody's recording because there's a light that's on the lens. That's right next to the lens that lets you know that it's being recorded.
Okay.
So as far as taking pictures, I don't know. I never noticed, but you have to use a gesture to touch the arm of the glasses. To take
what are they? I mean, what do they? What is your purpose here? No, what is the purpose of having? Is it to record things,
I think
does it give you smart information that pops up on the lenses?
So
what does it do?
I didn't get her because they're not out yet, right? The ones that that have the display on the lens. I think those come out.
I think
in March.
that's what Byron was just talking about.
Yeah, so I think those come out in March, but I've seen a couple of people, I follow a couple of people on Instagram for golf, with lessons, and they can record videos on showing you different aspects of things, or people who are creating.
It'd be great
recipes,
for YouTube repair videos.
Repair videos. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use them that way, and I think they do come in handy. I mean,
how what is the recording length of time?
We haven't played with it that much, but it's supposed to, it should give you enough time for at least 30 seconds to a minute clips and stuff like that. And I think it also depends on what you're doing.
So you've got at least four classes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you've got four classes. You've got the ones that we're talking about here, which are the Ray-Ban Meta, and I think
Oakley has some coming out.
And I think they would best be described as first-person point-of-view recording device.
Okay.
In other words, it sees what you see, because when you turn your head, it turns with you, obviously, and it's recording what you see if you are looking straight ahead. I mean, obviously, if you turn your eyes to look one way or the other, it doesn't change, but yes, there's a little light on the front, but I don't think that's going to be enough of a warning to other people that you are recording them if they don't know that, if somebody's wearing glasses and it's got a little light shining that they're recording me, then there's a lot of people not going to know that. And then you got the nefarious types who are going to put a blob of ink on it anyway, a Sharpie, and no, that isn't going to light up, so people aren't going to know I'm recording when I go into whatever location that I'm not supposed to be recording. And
they're looking less and less bulky now.
So that's one class. Yeah, that's one class. I mean, in a similar vein, you've got second kind of thing, which is like the things I had last year, the X-Real projection glasses, which don't...
It's like a movie theater on your face, yeah.
And you don't have any recording capability, but they've got the prisms built in, and they've improved significantly since last year, I believe. But you effectively have 120 or 140 inch screen, I believe now, just parked in front of you by looking through these glasses. And they can be used for what they call augmented reality. In other words, what you see through the prism, through the display, is augmented onto what you see through the glasses, as if they were like sunglasses. But as you remember, when I brought them in, it had a black shade over the front, so you couldn't see anything through it. But what you saw was it was like if I sat here and projected, it would be like I'd be watching a 120-inch screen on that wall over there. And that's more for portable viewing. Like you said, you've got your phone, which is your biggest computer, if you like, in terms of what people carry around now.
Right.
You can plug the glasses into the phone, and effectively, if you're on a plane, you just got your phone and these glasses, and you can watch all the movies you've got on your phone or whatever without having to annoy anybody else by having a great big screen, and the sound is through the side pieces on the ears. But then you've got the more interactive type of things, which I think, when you get, well, I can't remember what they're called, but where people play games with these things on, you see stupid videos where they fall over because they...
Right. Yeah, no, that's like MetaQuest or whatever. Yeah, that's a little bit...
Oculus Quest.
Or Oculus Quest, right.
But those are the big, heavy things, like you said, that look like big stick-out ski mask things that I think some of them, like the Apple ones, you see through them, so you see two things. I think the Facebook type ones were more like you're just looking at a screen in front of you, but as you move your head, the whole panoramic view moves, and so it's like you're in a different reality, and it reacts to what you're doing, and you're holding controllers and playing games and falling over and breaking your leg on the table. I don't know.
So why is it we're adopting it now and so many people crapped on it when Google tried to do this?
I don't know. Well, Google did something recently that was kind of tied into coming up with all this new Gemini stuff, and I saw a lady on a stage, and she was wearing these glasses, and it was recording everything she saw, but it also had a display built in, and she would ask a question and just say Gemini blah 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 blah, and the glasses would give her the answer and show her something on a screen in her view. But then she'd take a picture. She took a picture of the whole crowd that was in front of the stage.
I just laugh at Ian because he always hits his microphone.
Yep, that was a...
But Justin, we did the same thing with XM Radio. You remember when XM First Radio came out? It was two companies, Cyrus and XM.
It was Sirius, and there was XM.
And people was like, why am I pay for radio when I get it for free? Now...
It sounds better.
It sounds better. Then also now it's, you get to choose your genre. Before on regular radio, you really couldn't choose your genre.
That's true.
And then also now, then you can go, you ain't got to worry about being local to your city. You can go across country and still listen to the same genre of music you want.
So Ray, what did you get? Why did you get your wife a pair of glasses? Is it because you wanted them, or did she want them?
No, I didn't. Eventually I'll take some, but no, we've always been kind of a technology type kind of a family. So,
okay.
We always just kind of like to play with things. We've had moments where, we get family get-togethers or whatever. And, sometimes it's nice to just not have to be walking around holding up your phone, recording something when you can just, hit record on your glasses and just, kind of enjoy it that way. But I don't know. I mean, it just seemed like something, fun that, we want to do. We're going to be taking a trip to Scotland and London in July. And that was another reason why I got it for her, because, it'd just be kind of nice to see what she's seen, as we travel through the countryside of Scotland.
So it looks like Oakley is releasing a pair called the Oakley Meta, and it'll have a 12 megapixel camera. So it looks like most of these things are for cameras and recording. It's not like, what I liked about the Apple Glass, other than the fact that it looked like a motorcycle helmet, and you look like a complete idiot while wearing it. The love you, Apple, but it's that the thing that killed Apple Glass was the lack of apps and support that carried over to the Apple Glass. Yes, it could record, but it wasn't like what you guys are describing. So when I try to think of smart glasses, I'm thinking of I could give two rats if I can record or not.
Facebook, Meta, Oakley Meta, whatever they are just recording devices.
That's all they are. Yeah,
they're a camera that. So
right.
It's for the people that do Facebook Live and all that sort of stuff.
So what I would like, though, is if I'm walking through a shopping mall and I have these things on my face, I would like for sales to pop up. Like,
that would be the Google Glass version.
Yeah, which they killed because a lot of people were claiming it was an invasion of privacy and whatnot.
Everything's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, everything is an invasion of privacy.
The device you're holding in your hand is an invasion of privacy. Yeah. You agreed to it. We've already covered that.
Yeah, you're invading my privacy by asking me all these questions.
Well, that's true. Exactly.
But you agreed to it beforehand.
It's true. You actually drove here. I didn't do this.
Did you sign the waiver?
I did not sign the waivers.
There is no waivers. Yeah, no. See, it's now we're like a Hisense television. All right. Speaking of televisions, another big trend coming out this year is large TVs. One of the people in this crowd actually is an adopter of large TVs. The other, there's several in the crowd that sell the large TVs. Byron, how are you enjoying your elephant that lives in your living room?
I like it, but I hate it that my universal remote doesn't work. It's 3/4 of the way there, and I can't figure out because the one I got is a Hisense 98 inch. It's a Google TV. It's Google TV based.
Yeah, it's Droid.
So
Droid.
When you go to, the apps page, I figure out how to make the universal remote go to there, but I cannot figure out how to make it go from there back to regular TV without using other remote. But besides that, that's the only major concern I got.
So we can't talk about TVs without, not mentioning the person that does nothing but builds large TVs and gets to play with them for a living. Ray, are you seeing the trend move away from traditional projection into these larger, not TVs like 90-inch, but the micro LED stuff where you're building them on site and whatnot, like the Samsung Wall and a lot of these other companies that are kind of following the 0.9 pixel pitch and below, are you seeing that as a trend?
0.9 pixel pitch, that's almost OLED style right there, right?
Yeah, no, there's a guy in Houston now that builds them in Houston. They have their factory here, and I just toured it a couple days ago. You should come down and check it out. It's pretty
definitely
fun.
I don't know, man. I think it's good, but like the current one that we have here, I think it's a 3, it's a P3. Pixel pitch. So, I don't think they're going to change, for what we're doing with, regular projectors because, as the cinema industry is moving from, they moved from xenon bulbs to laser. I mean, you're still getting just as good of an image with laser as you would with an LED wall.
Right.
For cinema. The difference is that it doesn't cost. The cost is very high when it comes to the micro LED cinema screens, especially like LG having one out. Samsung with their Onyx, and I believe somebody else had recently just instituted one. But
there's a wall, but they're not doing the big stuff. They're just doing home stuff. Barco is the one that moved into it as well.
Now, Barco, I would say, I watched, I'm a huge anime guy, so I watched Chainsaw Man in HDR. and I also watched it in not HDR, for the Barco laser machines, and it's just an incredible machine. I mean, you just can't, it's very tough. Now, when you're going back and you're looking at like what's the difference between the micro LED and the laser or the HDR machines that you're getting from that, you can kind of really tell the difference. Like, the closer you get to the screen with an LED wall, is you're going to see, it's going to be pixelated.
Is Dolby Vision a thing in your world?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not for what we do, but Dolby Vision is a thing, obviously, right? With Dolby Cinema,
right. Most projectors won't do it though. Like most projectors can't get into the gamut where they would be Dolby certified.
No, I think because that's a legality thing between Dolby and the current exhibitor that uses Dolby Cinema. But in like Europe and those countries over there, where they can do Dolby Cinema regardless of where they're at.
So in the home theater world, we've all of the major brands, JVC, Sony, even the big guys, Barco, Sim2, everyone, Christie, Epson, everybody has moved to laser technology. Everybody has moved out of bulb. I predicted that last year on season 1 that the bulb shortage thing is going to come over here. It's basically everybody, the EPA cracking down on incandescent bulbs and mercury lamps. And so we kind of knew the trend was going to happen. Now it's happened. I mean, even the most basic projector you can buy now is still laser. Are you seeing that in your industry as well, or no?
As far as what I mean, because that's where everybody's moving to. You go to the local theaters here, and 90% of them are laser based.
They're all lasers.
Yeah. I mean, you'll know. You can tell the difference between what is a xenon base and what's a laser base.
And is it a blue? Are they still using the same blue Escient thing that we're using in the home stuff, or no?
No, I mean it's RGB. It's all RGB. Okay. If that's what you meant.
Well, I'm just because I don't know who makes it. I don't know if it's DLP or Texas Instruments or DLP Labs or one of the two. It's one of those two that they call it the blue Escient laser. And it's supposed to be serviceable and all is right with the heavens and everything lasts a long time. And
yeah, I mean, Texas Instruments created the DLP chip, right? So, it's. I mean, you have different types of kind of laser machines.
Yeah.
You have the phosphorus, which I think people are kind of moving away from and sticking strictly with RGB. So, certain projectors, they'll use, a combination of yellow and blue. Some will just use, more blues. You're not going to really see like green in there, but
right.
But I think it's just kind of, there and what's really going to put out, the best.
Yeah, no, Barco is a whole different world from what I'm used to seeing and playing with, because their menus, it's just like a whole different science, as far as dialing in each individual color and each individual thing.
Yeah, those are those Belgian engineers, man. They're on another level when it comes to.
Sony's out, right? Sony's not.
Yeah,
doing
Sony does not deal with theater, commercial theater,
which is weird because my whole tagline over the past 2 decades selling Sony projectors is it's the only company that owns a movie studio and makes a movie theater projector.
Well, now they own Alamo Drafthouse, so they're.
Sony does?
Yeah.
Do they
really? Sony Pictures owns Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah.
I did not know that. Wow.
So, yeah, they bought them. I think it was this year, maybe at the end of last year, but they did. So.
Yeah, Byron just upgraded to a laser projector not too long ago. He got the Epson LS12000.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the Epson either.
No.
Yeah.
No, Epsons.
Hey, except they don't work out the box.
That's true. We had a
I take that back.
We had a Deadwood. I mean, straight out of the box, stone dead, straight out of the box.
Oh, maybe they give you the display model.
And no, I mean it was brand new. He saw me open it, brand new, and then I went back to all the way back to the warehouse and grabbed another one. And they were kind enough to stay open and we thought that one wasn't going to work either, and because it acted weird for a minute, and then it finally started working. But yeah, no. But that's the first one I had seen do that. Yeah, no, I think I love projectors. I've always loved projector and screens. To me, it creates the movie ambience that I enjoy for home cinema and for home theater, and there's so many. So much fun things to be had when you're doing that. To me, large TVs are boring, and they're dangerous, and I hate installing them. And
Yeah, I mean,
they weigh like 300 pounds. I'm just not a fan.
if you have a big living room or big room, the large TVs are good. Me, I'm fine with my little 65-inch, LG that I have, hanging on my wall.
Work on screens that are 2 stories tall, and you use a 60.
Yeah, but that's all aspect ratio, right? Because, that's going back to how you want to see things. I mean, even if we take a 360 from going back to the beginning of what we were talking about with movies, right? And what would you rather see on the big screen? Would you rather see, Star Wars on the big screen for the first time, or would you want to watch it on a TV? I guess it's all up to the individual. I mean, I've been watching movies since '77, so
I don't know. In my opinion, because Byron, for instance, if you take his television, the TVs in the living room. I mean, when we were growing up, it was 20 inches, 32 inches, 36 inches. You were loaded.
if you're loaded,
Yeah, and they were 400 pounds, and
a record player on top, with the speakers on the
right,
side.
and then because they were more of a piece of furniture back then, not just a television, and then you had the projection TV world that came out that kind of flashed, and that's when they started progressively getting bigger and more expensive. But now it's if you don't make your home cinema compelling, if you don't give yourself a reason to walk upstairs, you're not going to use it. If you go look at the situation Byron's in right now, he has a 120-inch screen upstairs and a 100-inch downstairs. Do you think after working all day, he's going to go up a flight of stairs to go watch a projector upstairs? No, he's not, because he has a 100-inch TV downstairs now.
Well, if my friend would get me a kaleidoscope, I might have to change that narrative.
Yeah. I think we have the same friend that won't give me one either.
He's a good friend. He is.
And that's I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I love where home cinema is at. And I think even before, like maybe a couple of years ago, we were having the conversation, or even when I took that sabbatical from work and hung out with Justin for a couple of weeks, we were talking about how we can make that fine line, right, between home cinema and home theater, and what would be the difference.
Well, and here's the funny part about that, and the funny part where Ray and I crossed the bridge in that conversation, and because a lot of what we do was foreign to him, because he didn't understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. We went to a guy's house where he had, $250,000 speakers, and Ray's just looking at it like,
why?
This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. If you're trying to mimic home theater and home cinema when you can go to a commercial cinema and at best those speakers are probably $600 to $800 a piece, you know, if even that. And well, your front channels, that's a different animal. But even then, they're probably a few thousand a piece, but not 150,000 a piece, you know. And I think that was the world that was kind of foreign to him. And I lean more towards Ray's viewing. So when I went into THX level 3, John Dahl was the teacher instructor back then, and he had said there's no such thing as a $10,000 home theater speaker. I mean, there are people that will buy $10,000 home theater speakers, but there's really no such thing, you know. And it's like, even if you go to the studios where these things are mixed, they're not $10,000 a piece speakers. You know, it's either something from Dyn Audio or Myers Sound Lab or Bowers. You know, that's another studio speaker that's used quite a bit. And then there was an esoteric brand called Snell many years ago over there. But that's the fun. That was I think that was the foreign part for you, was because you were like, man, this is just, what is this, you know? And you know, I think that was the weird part.
It was weird because I'm sitting there looking at some of these speakers. I'm thinking like, wow, why do you have 25 tweeters on this thing? Like, and that's just one speaker. So it didn't really make any sense to me. Absolutely. Because I think like and I'm not saying I'm like the greatest sound engineer. I'm not even a sound engineer. I just do sound, right? But, you know, I think like some home theaters, they could just, you know, if you make it simple, you can still make it sound great, you know, and it's all about, you know, room design and speaker placement and
Can't
things
get
like
much
that.
simpler than mine.
No. You use a piece of PVC, adjustable PVC pipe to move your projector up and down.
No, it's not even adjustable.
No, it's why Mr. Dotson, Mr. Bobby Dotson gave him the name the high-tech redneck, because he built his system. He built the screen from cloth from Joann's Fabric and hung his projector with some PVC pipe and
Plumbing parts.
And I think Kevin gave you the projector, if I remember right.
No, I bought the projector.
Oh, was
that
it?
was my only expense. Well, no, not quite.
The speakers.
The speakers
yeah.
were already there because it was
okay.
a model home, and so they're basically cheap ass speakers.
Yeah.
Like up in the ceiling, but in the wall, I don't know. But I think I bought the cheap Sony sub, which just sits in front of the screen. Yeah, it was a Mitsubishi projector.
It is a Mitsubishi projector, yeah. No, so I went down the rabbit hole with Ray for a solid few weeks to try to figure out, hey, the problem with bringing commercial cinemas into homes is you can't get far enough away from the darn speaker not to melt your face off.
Yeah, but you've seen and heard my system. I mean, it's perfectly adequate for a normal family environment media room.
Sure, yeah. No.
Okay, the amp receiver, it's a high-end Sony that was a deal through Kevin.
Right.
But, you know, it drives everything. It's in there. It makes enough noise.
Goes whiz, bang, boom, pow.
Yeah. And the screen still looks great after all these years. How many years is that since?
Oh,
we
good
built
grief. 2011, 2010.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it was just, like you said, Joann Fabric, blackout material.
Stapled, yeah.
Stapled on a pine frame that I built from Home Depot lumberyard.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's actually hanging on a couple
And it looks great.
It's hanging on a couple of nails. It's still there.
Yeah, no, it looks great. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, and that was the interesting part working with somebody like Ray, because it's my dream job is to do what he does, and because in my aspect I mimic what he does, what you do on a daily basis. I forgot you're still sitting here. I mimic what you do on a daily basis. And so that's what was so fun about it. And then I remember you and I looked at QSC and a couple of different brands that you use all the time. Which is why I think we ended up with JBL, the JBL synthesis line, which is it's where the big boys play. You know what I mean?
They got a great consumer. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
It just, but with so many other, people that are out there, that I think we talked about Crux at one time, and
have you listened to Crix or Crux?
Crix, I think it's Crix.
Crix,
right? Yeah, I think they're from Australia.
They're huge in Australia.
Yeah, they're from Australia,
and they're trying to get a foothold here. I know that.
They just popped up on my LinkedIn feed, which is kind of weird, but it's there's great. I mean, I think the QSE speaker line got bought out by a company in California called MIT. So that's good. So hopefully, they continue the way that.
So where does Myers fall into all that?
Myers is a different animal, man. Like it just like
they're like what? That's like Dolby stuff, right?
No, man.
Or is Dolby?
Dolby's Dolby. Like Myers, you look at anything that Meyer puts out. I mean, they do a lot of live venues. I think Metallica toured with the Meyer speaker array.
Yeah.
And
I had heard that was what's funny is you see phone recordings of that show, and it sounded usually the phone recordings are overloaded by the pressure, and it just sounds like a bunch of distorted mess.
Yeah.
But like my brother was sending me phones because he's a punk and got to go to Metallica. He went there with my nephews, and all of the recordings he sent me sounded like you were there. Like I've heard they spent a lot of money to make sure that show sounded good, for sure.
I got to visit. I'm just gonna throw this out there because I love telling the story. But
I'm just gonna name drop for a minute.
No. It's not even name dropping. It's more. I can't talk much about it because I did have to sign an NDA. But
tell you I have to kill you.
So I did get to go visit.
You can tell us.
Yeah.
The 5 people that listen to the show.
Well, all 5.
4 of which are on the show.
I went to Skywalker Ranch years ago, probably back in 20.
The Stag.
Yeah, we were talking about the Stag.
Yeah, I've been to the Stag. I did level 3 there.
But we're talking about Meyer, and they use. A lot, as their monitors, they deal with like a lot of the rooms that we went into where they were doing, sound stuff. They all their monitors were Meyer, and I think that's kind of where they do a lot of their sound mixing and stuff.
So here's a funny folklore story. There have been, and I'm not going to say the names, but there have been 4 speaker manufacturers that have claimed that their speakers are in the Stag Theater. Having been to the Stag Theater, I know what speakers are in there, so I just stay quiet when they start talking about what's in the Stag Theater. You have also stated what speakers are in the Stag Theater, and it's the same speakers I know to be in the Stag Theater.
Well, I think we went at different times, right? And so
I went 2005, 2006.
Oh yeah, so it was a huge difference, right? Because I think mine was 2016, 17, something like that.
Yeah, so Atmos wasn't a thing yet.
Atmos was at they were at the very beginning stages of their.
Well, I mean, but I don't think they were calling it. I mean, I don't think it was. This was DTS HD and Dolby True HD, and that was the home format stuff. And then, but the last day, so for those that wanted to be bored enough to go to level 3, which I was like, I'll fly at the Skywalker Ranch and see all of the things. And this is back when they did level 3 over there. Now I don't even think they do level 3. I don't even know if they have it anymore. I don't know if THX 1, 2, and 3 are even around anymore.
I think they do have.
But all I got for spending all the money was a laptop bag and a backpack. So
You're losing the uninformed and uninitiated here. Skywalker Ranch, Stag Theater.
Okay, so Skywalker Ranch is George Lucas's No, well, not anymore. But well, no, he still owns Skywalker.
He doesn't own Skywalker Ranch, but he owns the land.
Right. So that's where. So he lives in that vicinity or next on the land in the same lot thing. He has a private theater there called the Stag Theater, and the reason why is there's two giant deer, stags, looking like they're gonna fight or whatever, and that's where LucasArts is. So all of the movies that were THX certified or Pixar movies and a lot of Disney stuff is mixed over there. It's probably what would you say? Probably the industry's authority on mixing and sound mixing and for.
I mean, they definitely have
post
a lot of
editing,
people there.
post production for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you have the of course, Adobe has their own. Then you have I forgot, it's the Dub Stage in California that does.
Yep.
They do a lot of post production,
and it's in Northern California is where it's at. It's in the pretty part of California still.
But yeah, I mean, that was interesting.
It's very interesting. There's a lot of cool Star Wars memorabilia there. There's a lot of ships and things, and well, at least when I went there, that's what was there.
It's all still there.
Yeah. So it's a big deal for a nerd. The nerds that like Star Wars, it would be like you walking on the set of Doctor Who. It's kind of like that. I mean, I don't think they filmed anything there, but it's one of those things where it was the birth of Star Wars. That was Lucas's giant purchase, and he bought a giant plot of land out there, and then he has a commercial side of it, and then he has a residential. I think there's even a hotel there.
I didn't see a hotel, but he does have a vineyard.
I think there's a hotel now. Yeah, I think there's a place you can actually stay there now. But it's fun. It's pretty interesting. But it's an industry professional's pinnacle of seeing that stuff.
So I think that's kind of where where the line is right now between home theater and commercial. But I still stay my ground, man. I there's nothing like watching a movie, even if it's a crappy one, at the movie theater.
At the movie theater, yeah. Well, you have to say that because it's your job.
I don't have to. It's just something, the first movie I watched, I think, that I can remember between was Popeye. Robin Williams,
okay.
Duvall. It's like I watched it at the local.
That'd be a
theater,
fun thing to do. Byron, what's the last movie you saw? I don't remember that one.
I went. I think it was one of the DC with my son. We went to see, this movie where both husband and wife was hitting me in the movie. Me and my wife just went to the one down the street from your house.
Right, the Regal, the giant Regal X. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Coincidental, though, I read an article this morning on the Nextdoor app where the one closer to my house up by Kingwood Cinema, Showbiz Cinema, how trashy and ragged it is compared to the Regal and the one they built in Valley Ranch.
I didn't think that one was going to make it. Like, I know Regal's been through some rough stuff financially.
Oh, they're in the black. They're good.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Are they? Good. That's good. Yeah.
And Showbiz.
I mean, that's the Regal and the one in the Valley Ranch. That's a nice environment. It's not necessarily about the movie. It's about the environment. When you go to the Showbiz, and the last time I went there, it was definitely dirt cheaper, but you definitely get what you pay for.
So 4DX, Ray.
Not a fan.
You don't like it.
I am not a fan.
That's the triple screen, right?
No, that's Screen X.
Screen X. Yeah. Okay, what is the 4DX? Is when they shoot water on you and all that.
Give you the whole moving chair and stuff like that.
The Disney World effect.
You don't like it.
It's not for me. Yeah, I'm a traditionalist. Again.
I don't want to be squirted in the face. You're messing up my popcorn.
Yeah, I also don't want to be. Again, my ideal theater would not be a dine-in. I don't like people keep walking past me when I'm trying to watch a movie just to take an order.
Top Gun Maverick, did it save the film industry?
I don't know if it saved it, but it was a damn good movie. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That movie cost me money
Why did it cost you money?
because I had to get 4 rails.
Oh, same friend that should have got you a Kaleidoscape, huh?
Yeah, Ray. He got me in reverse.
Wow.
He's got 412s in that room now. Which is adequate. Hey, I've got some 15s here if you want to upgrade to the 15s.
You
Hey,
see,
just-
Ray? You see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I know. You just make sure you cut that low end to about below 100, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's going to get a little bit muddy. So, last movie you saw was a DC movie. I'm trying to think what DC movie it was.
Spider-Man. It was a Spider-Man.
Oh, that ain't DC. That's Marvel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
You saw dear Lord. Yeah, no, this is why you're on the tech side of it.
It's
not the
comic
movie
book.
side.
Who cares?
And then Ian saw British comedy
No, I saw The Expendables 3, 2, and 1.
at the theater.
Oh, no, not the theatre.
Oh.
Well, in my theatre.
Oh, your theater. Yeah, no,
See,
that
my
was
friend
good.
Justin just told me. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to see Avatar," and I just thought he was going to watch. I didn't know they remade Avatar and had another one come out. I just thought he was just going to watch it again. And now, to listen to you today, I realized they have a whole new one that came out.
Yeah, no, they're gonna release a new Marvel trailer or the new Avengers Doomsday trailer in 4 consecutive weeks. So there's gonna be you're gonna have to see Avatar 4 times to see the whole story.
I mean, I just go to work 4 times, and then I'll be able to see it.
That's true. He just watches from the viewing window and he's fine. I have a feeling it'll be out on Super Bowl. I think they're gonna show, because you think about it, Spider-Man launches in July, Super Bowl is in February, so they're probably either going to have a Spider-Man trailer or a Doomsday trailer, or the full Doomsday trailer in July, and then Doomsday is not until December 16th, this year. So we'll have to see what's going on with that, but. I'm trying to think of the last movie. I haven't been. I saw Mission Impossible. That was good. I thought they ended it well.
I
And
haven't seen it.
you haven't seen it? It's good. It's on Paramount now. I mean, it's on Paramount Plus now, but and all that stuff. All right. So, and then ending the show. Let's see. Going into it. A lot of people at CES are saying that Wi-Fi 8 is going to rear its ugly head. There's still a lot of stipulation and qualifications that Wi-Fi 8 has to go through before it becomes Wi-Fi 8. Guys, is there any freaking reason to even adopt Wi-Fi 7 right now?
Not right now.
Future proof. That's how. I mean, I have Wi-Fi 7 at home. I just future proof it, so that way I don't have to worry about spending money. Just again, I'm a techie, so I like to keep up with the latest trends.
What about you, Network Pro over there?
Well, you know what my system is. It's a mixture of Eero devices, 6 Plus, 6 Pro or something, but it's only Wi-Fi 6 at best, but it does everything I want it to do because I prefer to keep a lot of my stuff hardwired anyway.
Byron, what about you?
I'm in the same boat as Ian. I tried to hardwire as much as I can because I want the throughput. But from a Wi-Fi perspective, I only use it when I'm forced to. So, I mean, to say I'm going to go up and grab the latest version of it, probably not.
Yeah, no, my thought on the whole thing is most devices won't run Wi-Fi 7 anyway, even if you have Wi-Fi 7. I covered this last year that I am not an advocate for anything above 2 gigabit coming into your home. I know Tacus is doing 5 gigabit now. Suddenlink's now advertising for 5 gigabit. In my humble opinion, I really think that you can't utilize it. You can't use it. The only thing it does is it creates a wider freeway for more devices to jump on, which that helps. But you're not really taking advantage of the speed. at all in any way, shape, or form because your device can't do it. You know, your laptop, your network card and your device won't do it. Your phone device won't do it.
It reminds me.
Yeah, but look at it from this perspective. Okay, so you sign up for 1 gigabit, the most you're going to get is probably 800, 875, 880.
100%. Yeah.
So if you sign up for 5 gigabit, then you'll probably get the 1 gigabit that you really, really want.
It reminds me of something Kevin used to say, which was about drinking from a fire hose. I mean, the bigger you make the hose, the more water's going to come out of it, but you can only drink so much at a time.
Right. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, here's the other thing. Even if you do hardwire, your infrastructure in your home can't handle it anyway. You know, unless you wire with Cat 7 or Cat 8.
Well, I mean, Cat 6A can do up to 10 gigs, so it's like...
Can it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. What about 5E? Most of the homes I'm seeing today are running either Cat 5E or maybe 6.
Not a lot of 6 out there.
Yeah.
No, not unless it's home. Not unless it's wired now. Like if I'm pre-wiring a home right now, I'm wiring it with Cat 6 because Cat 6 bulk cable is only $10 more than Cat 5e.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be wiring their stuff with any type of Cat 5 cable anymore. And that's just, again, my opinion. Just,
no.
You know, because you're just going to start having it.
I haven't purchased Cat 5 cable in probably 5 years. You know,
Justin, since you mentioned that, I ran across a audio control RC level bass knob that uses Ethernet cable to connect the box to the knob.
That's cool. Well, so that technology, audio control is using something called Dante, Dante, and Dante is actually an industry standard that kind of rolls into what Ray does. Because you guys don't use Dante on your processing?
No, we don't use Dante. We have an industry standard. It's just AES 67.
Okay, so Dante is used more in the pro audio world then. So what it is it's audio matrixing is what you can do over Cat 5.
What I thought was cool about it, technically speaking, you can have the little box on an amplifier and then run the knob 300 feet in theory because Cat 5 goes up to 300 feet.
Yeah, no, you could. No, and that's perfect for live venues. You know, I know the reason Dante is really cool and important and works great for things like, you know, the Woodlands Pavilion or Toyota Center and things like that is because if they use Cat 6 or even Cat 7, they can have what's called these breakout boxes. So they connect these two boxes and so instead of running an XLR squid cable all the way across this venue, 200, 300 feet, where they have to have bricks in between them that boost the signal, they have these Dante boxes now that run it off of network cable. And then the two network boxes, you just tell what end's connected to what, and it's just like being right there at the mixer board. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a whole different cool thing. Audio Control, it's an esoteric brand. They still do home theater. Like they do home theater and they do car audio a lot, but now they've broken into commercial audio. Denon Marant's commercial uses Dante. DMX lighting controllers use Dante. I mean, there's all kinds of fun stuff. Harman owns Dante is what it is. They own the technology. So
Harman owns everything.
Samsung owns everything because Samsung owns Harman. Yeah. So Samsung
and JBL.
Tell them to build a universal remote that works at Hisense TVs.
Hey, no, well, they don't own Hisense TVs. Hisense owns
Hisense?
Hisense.
Hisense.
He just calls it Hisense.
Oh,
Hisense.
Hisense. No, Hisense is actually owned by Sharp USA, which isn't in Sharp USA, which isn't in USA anymore. It's actually in China. So,
are we talking about infrared universal remote control? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he uses Logitech.
And it doesn't work with his Hisense.
Nope. No, Hisense is using some sort of proprietary thing.
I need to install some Bitwise for him.
I don't know if it's an operator error or it doesn't work. That's the point. But I cannot get me and Ray's other good friend who's the expert of to come and see.
I told you shouldn't have bought a Hisense. I told you not to buy a 100-inch TV. I told you to get the Samsung.
How can you pass up a 100-inch TV
easily?
for
The remote doesn't work.
$999?
Easily, the remote doesn't work.
For $999.
That's a lot of money for a TV.
But that was 57% off.
You know, here's the sad part. This person listens to this show, so I'm just gonna do it anyway. That TV in the Sony variation about 3 years ago was $18,900. Yeah, that was like 3 years ago, and I sold lots of them. It's just, and now I think the Sony version is like $4,000 now.
Dang, that's why I buy my TVs at Walmart, because I can't afford you, Justin.
No, is that what it is? Well, I sell it.
I'm just kidding. I
always say I sell it at cost, but he even complain about cost prices.
I don't know. I think it's the old age. It's like oh, it's 50% off. I'm like, yeah, but it's still like,
out of my price range.
Out of the price range, yeah. No, exactly.
Hey Ray, 50% off. 50% off is the normal people's pricing from the get-go.
Well, Byron's the one that nicknamed me the audio. He said, "Well, you're just an audio snob. I don't ever ask you about my speakers." So it's just, I don't ever ask you about my AV receiver because you're just the audio snob. Yeah. No, it's interesting. The way I describe, and this will be a good segue for next week into the home cinema stuff, is, there's a difference between a home theater and a home cinema, and it really it doesn't take a lot to get from one place to the other, if you use certain brands that are made for that. My viewpoint has always been a lot of folks are using these big esoteric brands like a Focal, like Macintosh, like some of these other guys, and not to offend or anything, and I'm not saying they're not good for that, but if you have to think about the point of origin and what you're trying to duplicate, if you're trying to duplicate Diana Krall's Steinway piano or Stevie Ray Vaughan's Fender Stratocaster or whatever, then yes, use a speaker that has a higher musicality value to it. And there are certain speakers that create and recreate those types of soundtracks of what I call real recorded sound. All right. So the other speaker brands out there where you start getting into, if Harrison Ford were to walk in this room and punch Ray in the face, it's not going to sound like Indiana Jones punching Ray in the face. So there are speakers better for what I call synthetic sounds. So snap, crackle, pop, things that are made in a studio to make sound like a punch, or sound like an explosion, or sound like a car crash, or sound like a gunshot, because most of those audio soundtracks aren't real audio soundtracks. And some of those speakers translate that very well, like a QSC, a JBL, a Klipsch, a Myers, an Dolby, all those things. They engineer those things to duplicate those sounds. And then the movie soundtrack is also equally important, but it's not the primary focus behind those things. And so my theory has always been, when people are getting into these significant home theater designs, is, are you using the right tool for a job? Yes, I can put a trailer hitch on the back of a Corvette and it has the horsepower and torque to pull a load of cinder blocks, but should you? And does it do it in the best way, shape, and form? And so that's a conversation that Ray and I have had over the years when trying to duplicate compelling home cinemas. And a lot of it is the bass monster. A lot of it is the source that you're using. I've never understood designing a room that's tens of thousands of dollars and then hooking it up to a $175 Apple TV. It just doesn't make sense to me, and that's why things like Blu-ray and Kaleidoscape and DVDs and things like that just make such a massive difference. But you don't realize how bad your stuff that you normally watch sounds until you listen to something that's better. So And that's kind of what Ray does. That's kind of what I do. Ian debunks that whole rule and does whatever he wants to do.
It's great.
And then Byron always complains when I tell him I have different things and new subwoofers, and then he he wants them. So
When you say your 12-inch subs are great, but I got something better.
right.
15.
Right. Well, hey, to be honest, I tried to get him to buy the 15s the first time. But then, the 12s sound amazing, though. Those 412s sound really good. So they do a good job. All right. Well, I think that is a cast for today. Full house today. Awesome heavyweight cast with all the experts all around. I got a cinema expert. I've got a high tech redneck, and then I've got a network expert on the other side of it. And then there's me, the village idiot that won't shut up, that likes to entertain people. So here we all are. So, all right. Well, that's Technology Rox episode. Dear golly, what are we on now? 5?
4.1.
4.1. Yeah, because it made me label the last one 4. And so this one will be 4.1. I mean, we almost have 2 episodes. If we went another 30 minutes, we could do another 2-part episode. But
Next week, I want to talk about some home automation, which was something I had on today's agenda, but we've run out of time. So.
okay, so home automation for next week. Byron, what are we bringing to the table next week?
I want TV streaming boxes. My TiVo box going away, so I need alternatives.
That's a good one. So many questions about that. When are we doing a streaming service episode 2 on that? Because Tony and I went into that on season 1 really heavily about, are you saving money by streaming and which services are doing what? Well, guess what? None of that information means anything, because none of it actually works. So the reason why is because all of these people have changed the rules yet again, and some people have stolen sports stations yet again, and all the rules with trying to stream Astros and Texans and all of those things, all of that's broken now. So we have to recover the whole thing, and that would be a really good one to do. I'm glad you said that. And then, Ray, what are we talking about?
I have no idea.
All right, I love that honesty.
We'll find out when we get here.
Ray's like, I'm more of a seat of the pants type of thing. I don't study for the test.
He can update us on his glasses experiment.
He can update it on his glasses experiment.
Oh yeah, I could definitely do that.
It's true, yes.
Well, I'd have.
I'm toying with the idea of the glasses. I'm just trying to find.
And what are you going to
value.
record with
I
the glasses?
I think he's filming us now, actually.
Well, he could. He's wearing glasses.
Yeah. Hiding under his
Maybe
baseball
that's a
cap.
way. Well, again, that's why I asked about the how long can you record? Because I was like, well, if you could record with an hour, it'd be a way to record the show where we could all 3 wear glasses and then mix them all together. Just sounds like an editing nightmare. But yes, no. So home automation, streaming services we need to cover that because again, all the rules have changed. And then that'll be a good one to segue into Kaleidoscape. So all right, we'll talk into Kaleidoscape a little bit more and why it's important and necessary and how the prices have changed there too. So
And how you're going to give one to these 2 gentlemen.
and these two gentlemen. Yes, no.
Yeah, thank
Testing
Ian.
purposes.
Thank Ian. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, beta testing.
Well, you guys are best friends because you both use 1980s computers, so called the alien computers. Yes, no.
Windows 7.
Windows 7 or Linux now, as Ian, Mr. Gran calls it Linux. Yeah, so that'll be a good one. So home automation, streaming services, and if you made it this far, follow us on Facebook because we'll be posting updates and things like that on Facebook. You can also ask us questions on Facebook. I have a neat conversation with somebody that I met yesterday about artificial intelligence. I'm not going to get into it on this episode, but it'll be a fun one to talk about and how kind of we're on the right track in our thought process that people are indeed afraid of this thing and they really shouldn't be. There is no boogeyman. It's just a search engine. All right. Well, looks like that is a cast. I think we had a little bit of a technical malfunction toward the end of the show, but We'll see you next week, and we'll see you in a bit.